Audio, would you like to greet the viewers?
We are now live.
Yeah,
Yes.
audio.
Yo,
Audio.
oh, hi. First time for me here.
Yeah, welcome. So yeah, we're doing.
Tell us about yourself.
Hi, I'm Onyo. It's my honor to be on this stage with the best players in OCE. And
Say wow.
Very honored to be called best
also,
here.
it happens to me that I'm a Yuyuko player, and so today we are doing Yuyuko tier list. So I'm here to
Yes, say
contribute
wow.
a little bit.
Say wow.
Wow.
Apparently my volume's very low. Just one sec.
Yeah, just doing a sound check.
Recording. Referring to this. How's it now, Brooklyn? Is it more audible? I've raised it a lot.
Make sure you can hear everyone's voices as
Yeah,
well.
Can you hear all of us now? Any feedback? How is it now?
Audio, say wow again.
WAW.
Uh,
It's cookie swirl.
Oh no, I can't believe my curse has spread. This is not right.
anyone
never intended
listening,
this.
if you could let me know if the audio sounds okay, that would be. It sounds the same. Okay.
Sounds the
audio
same. Who said
input.
that?
Hold on, Brooklyn.
Who?
Okay. Let me raise it more. Okay. Is it better now? I raised it again.
Don't be shy, Clem.
Hold on. Let me see. Let me change the.
Just put the mic into your mouth.
Oh, actually, hold on. How about now? It's using the different mic. This one might be better.
I think the quality of your voice in the Discord chat just went up a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Not a little bit, a lot.
Okay.
A lot. Okay, yeah, okay, fair.
Is it still the same? I mean, my audio input's showing that my voice is like ear-breakingly loud, apparently. But if it's quieter than everyone
Interesting.
else's voice, that's very strange.
That's just OBS being weird.
Yeah, that could just be OBS being weird.
Yeah, you might want to turn up the sound on your computers as well.
Or turn down the sound of everything else except your microphone on OBS.
Oh yeah, I could do that. Hold on. Okay, it's better, but still quiet compared to everyone else. Okay.
Maybe you should lower my volume.
Actually, hold on. I can adjust the Windows settings to device properties. No, Windows it's on 100. Okay. Well, that doesn't change much. Okay. Well, I'll just try to talk a bit loud, I guess. Anyway, we are now live. Hello, everyone. So, as you can see, we've got the game screen here, but what we'll actually be showing today is the tier lists that we've prepared for Yuyuko. Today we've got myself and several Yuyuko mains here to help with the commentary. So, as you just heard earlier, we've got Onyo, who is
Yeah, I'm totally a Yuyuko main.
yep, Sakuya Yuyuko main, and we've got Cookie, who is OC's top Yuyuko main, and we've also got Jiang, who
Thank
is pretty good at Yuyuko as well. So yeah, I think we've got a decent crew for this, which is good. We'll be going through Yuyuko's spell cards first, and then we'll be going through her skill cards. So the thumbnail is not actually what we place the cards, surprisingly enough. I'll switch the screen now to the spell cards, and it should show up. There it is. So yeah, here's our current tier list, separated from S tier to D tier. Essentially, like Stooge comments, Yuyuko does have cards that can be used in Soku. That is true. So those cards, we're first going to look at her spell cards. So in S tier, we've got her 4-cost Pink Ghost, then Blue Ghost. A tier, we've got her 1-cost Ghost, 4-cost Reversal, and then 2-cost Ring, Butterfly Ring, 2-1-4 Reversal. B tier, we've got the 3-cost Ring that closes into you, 4-cost Lances, 5-cost Ghosts, 2-cost version of the 4-cost Reversal. C tier, we've got that 5-cost AUB move, and D tier, we've got the Resurrection Butterfly. So yeah, let's start off with S tier. So here we've got the probably, what most people would agree is Yuyuko's top 2 spell cards.
Yes, precisely. These 2 cards, the Pink Ghost and the Blue Ghost, I forgot their names, but who cares? These
Just
2
one
cards
tickets.
are undisputed. Undisputedly the best for Yuyuko. If you're not running these, then you're probably just trolling, I guess.
Yeah, I would say that
Much it.
they're pretty important.
Also, disclaimer: this list was not made by me. If it was up to me, I would put the blue ghost above the pink ghost. But
That's true. I mean, it's just like Pink Ghost is extremely strong, like stronger than Blue Ghost, but it costs twice as much. So I think there is
Yeah.
a
it's not just that. But okay, we'll go through the cards and we'll eventually talk about it. So
well, I mean,
yeah.
we're looking at the S tier now, so we might as well talk about it now.
Yeah, we can
I guess,
argue
yeah.
about it now. Yeah.
Yeah, the reasoning is probably because I'm guessing because the 4-cost's avoidable, right? So you need to be able to actually ensure it hits. There's more effort involved. While the Blue Ghost is just guaranteed 1.2k. Like that is definitely strong, but it can't KO.
That's one of the
Yeah.
reasons.
Yeah.
And the top reason for me is that the green ghost. I mean the blue ghost. I'm sorry, I'm going through tough times, so pardon me if I made mistakes. Okay, I almost said the green ghost again. The pink ghost.
Mm-hmm.
It is affected by guts,
Right.
so it won't always be 4K.
But
Actually,
I mean,
it's rarely 4K because you don't really use it raw, right?
that's true. Yeah.
And,
But I
But
mean, it also can get. Not only does it benefit from a drizzle, but also dust storm, right? Because it can counter hit. So I think
Yes.
that's something to consider too.
yes, but
Yeah.
the blue ghost, it's cheap.
Mhm.
It makes your pressure stronger.
Mm-hmm.
It's always 1.2k no matter what HP they are at.
That's
It's
true.
not affected by guts at all.
Yeah, can I have my thoughts?
Yeah, go right ahead.
So I feel the 4-cost is like even its higher costs. I think Yuyuko has her cards built up really fast. So I think the cost is not a problem, and it's not only just higher damage. It's like it can kill it on itself,
Yeah.
and it's as in that game-changing influence in it. I think.
Yeah, and I think
So-
something Jiang's discounting is that not only is there that damage from the card itself, but in that few seconds they have before it explodes, they're probably going to make
Yeah.
impatient decisions and eat more damage, right? And then you just
True,
restand
true.
them with 2B.
And Yuyuko is better prepared for this situation because Yuyuko is Yuyuko main. So
Yeah, and
Yeah.
she got the knockdowns, they're going to wake up and it's Oki. So
yeah.
Yuko has big advantage at that situation. But I think the one weakness it has over the 2-cost is that it's not guaranteed. So,
True.
yeah.
There's always an underlying risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can stop Pink Ghost from making you explode.
I don't
First of all,
think
you
that
can hit
there-
Yuyuko. You can also backdash it if you're good enough. You can also you can get purposely knocked down, and
She
then
can restand you
you
with
can do
2B
a
though,
wake up.
so yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, wristband, that's very dangerous
Mm.
for the opponent.
but still, if the opponent if the person getting affected by Pink Ghost is able to get themselves knocked down and then wake up, as the ghost explodes,
Yeah.
then it does literally 0 damage. So that's the only
Basically,
danger.
anything invincible to melees would avoid it, but Spring Haze won't, which is funny.
Yeah, it's a melee.
But it's
Yeah.
ungrazable specifically, so you can't avoid it in Spring Haze.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Nice.
the for those who don't know, you know this. So the pink ghost, she fires a single projectile, which is very easy to put in combos at the end, or even using pressure to crush. But for combo use, once it hits the opponent, the actual hit doesn't do much, but then they get a ring of ghosts around them, which gradually ticks down until it hits 0 when ungrazable, unblockable melee explosion that does 4,000 damage just lands straight on them. The only way they can avoid is doing the things that Cookie listed. So it is and all those actions have risk associated with them as well. So for all you know, you could just hit you for even more damage and then you explode if you try to escape it. But you always do have the possibility of avoiding the explosion. One thing to note is that the explosion can counter hit. So not only is it already very damaging at 4,000 damage, but counter hits 1.33 times the multiplier applies if they try something funny or it's Dust Storm. So potentially it can just outright deal 5.333k. Which is
if it's sprinkle and counter hits.
Drizzle counter hit.
Drizzle, yeah. Drizzle.
Would deal a huge amount of damage, as you can see on the stream here. And I'm going to demonstrate that even if they block, it's just unblockable. You can be pressuring them freely. They can even block stunning explode. 6666 curse damage. Drizzle.
But all as long as they
counter
don't hit you in the
6666.
process.
That's
as
right.
long as they don't hit you.
That's right. But something to note is that you would use it off a knockdown primarily. So they're going to be in a disadvantaged situation, waking up into it as you pressure them like this, for example.
Yeah.
And you can keep the pressure up and they just explode while you're pressuring them. But of course, if they have like invincible DPs and stuff, I think its effectiveness is greatly reduced because if you do try to pressure them, there's substantial risk you get hit, which makes that countdown go away. So, yeah.
Unless they're really low on their health.
Oh yeah, that's
so
true.
If they are going to die anyway, they can still try and they may success, but you can catch them on the dash.
That's true.
Or anything else.
Yeah.
Dash. Yeah.
So, it's not guaranteed, but I think the stronger you are, the more likely you're gonna land it on the opponent. While the 2 cost is just I don't think it shows up in practice mode, but it's like not a countdown. It just curses them like this, and they get 1.2k HP, gradually drained over that period. But it can't KO, and it's not affected by any kind of proration, good or bad. So,
but if they hit you during that period, you will also get.
That's true.
Cancel.
Like the forecaster, they can hit you to make it go away.
But it can't be avoided.
Yeah, they can't
That's true.
avoid it with invincible moves, which is different. The main difference is that the damage is a lot lower and it can't KO. But if you consider the kind of combos Yuyuko's can do into it, so I don't know, I'll do a simple one. Like 3.2k to 3.3k and then add 1.2k flat to that. That ends up being a 4.4k combo with 2 cards, which is kind of crazy. But the same thing can be said about the forecast. But basically 3.3k and then about 4k minus like 10% for the guts, so it ends up being like 7k damage combo with 4 cards. So
yeah, and I think focus it has like more combo potentials. It will not limit very early, and for focus it like early limit late.
That's true. That's true. Actually, that's a good point. The 4 cost limit is 40%, while the 2 cost limit's I think 60. So you can actually reduce the amount of time the opponent has to act after wake up before the explosion by putting the 4 cost in the middle of your combo and then like doing a finisher after that limit. So there is a bit more flexibility in that front. And one last thing I'd like to mention is on block, the 4 cost is +8, so Yuyuko gets a free, either high, low, or bullet there, and the opponent really can't do anything to avoid that. And it does 1 orb as well, so you get the 1-orb damage, and you get a high-low after as well. So that's, you know, it is expensive for the little amount of spirit it does, but the frame advantage is pretty substantial. So in a pinch, it's very good to force a crush. 2 cost, doing the same amount of spirit damage, so it's also very good for perfect crushes, doing 1 orb exactly, but it leaves you -4, so against a majority of the cast, Yuyuko will have to back off after making them block it. But it will make her 623 safe, which is a very important use for both of them. It's just the difference between safe and plus. Yep, Jay?
But Yuyuko has a very far-reaching and very fast 2A. So
That's
against
true.
certain characters, she can do some frame traps, and I think that she can do some kind of maneuvers to put her in a better position.
That's true. It's not a guaranteed end of pressure. So,
Yeah.
you know, a lot of the cast can just out-poke her, but some characters can't. Sakuya actually has trouble because she trades, she does F5A. So, you know, it's not guaranteed pressure over for Yuyuko, though most of the cast it is. So there is a bit of mix-up she retains versus some characters. But it's nothing like the +8 of 4 cost where she can do 4A, 2A with no risk at all. So yeah, you know, both are very potent in pressure. 4 cost, you know, being twice expensive is also much better frame-wise. Something interesting to know is that both of these doing 1 orb exactly in 1 hit means that you get a full combo if they crush, which is very good. So yeah, I mean, you know, I don't think anyone has any problem with those two being in S tier, but I would say they're very closely matched, but based on what was discussed, I'd personally have 4 cost a tiny bit higher. But, you know, like Jiang said, the 2 costs for only 2 cards is pretty absurdly strong. And I think if you were to have 4 of one of them in your deck, more people would have 4 of the 2 cost than 4 of the 4 cost. But
I think that almost every single Yuyuko uses 4 of the 2 cards.
right, that's true. That is true. But that's more because the 4 cost too expensive to have 4 of.
Yeah. And in my opinion, I would actually put 4 cost and 2 cost at exactly the same level, because it wouldn't really make sense to rank one higher than the other, because you're going to be using both anyway.
Right, that's true. And both are
So-
like the key cards in a deck. I mean,
Precisely,
I'm
so-
you know, for me it's just this one's cheaper, you know, more reliable in a sense, but also, you know, a lot less return, and not being able to KO is a big factor for me, because the kind of despair that you get when you get hit by the 4 cost and you're in KO-able HP range is a lot more threatening than the 1.2k. Like, it's bad, but it doesn't really... The mental damage isn't there, I feel.
Yeah.
And I watch a lot of like high level Yuyuko player gameplay, and one of them is Mian,
Yep.
and he recently got some real fame in international.
Mian's very famous,
and, yeah. So I feel in his matches against strong players, the 4 cost is definitely a big game changer for him.
Okay.
He won a lot of games because of this card. Yeah.
Okay. So, you know, I'd say they're closely matched, but probably at least by majority vote, I'd say 4 cost is the winner of Yukong's card strength here. So we'll stick to this order right now. Like Stu said, the 4 cost explosion is Komachi doing 2C off screen. When Yuyuko versus Komachi, I guess Komachi sabotages herself. But yeah, so moving on to A tier, we've got some formidable cards here too. So first on the list is the 1 cost. Now this one's, I think most of its strength comes from the fact that it's a 1 cost, as in how high it's placed. So, you know, this is pretty much a one-trick pony. You use it when the opponent's cornered, so it has to be corner. And when the opponent blocks your 623, you can go into the 1 cost. And it leaves you...
-2 compared to
Yep.
Blue Ghost, which is -4.
Yep, it leaves you -2. So unlike the Blue Ghost, against most of the cast, Yuyuko actually can beat their fastest poke with her space 2A. So she generally gets to retain pressure after the 1 cost.
It still depends on the distance though, because if you are slightly away from the corner, you can be plus with the 1 card.
Oh, okay. So the frame data does adjust, since I guess, the ghosts do have to travel. The later they hit the opponent, the more plus you'll be. Like there, my dash was airtight. So yeah, at the worst, it's going to be -2 or better. And it also, because something I'd like to note that you see often is because the hitbox is so active, if people hangeki it, usually it trades. So you do get a bit of damage in, which is nice, into a knockdown. But yeah, that is pretty much the only use for it. Often it'll be used to crush.
Yeah,
there is another change the weather.
Yeah,
it's air usable.
That's right. It is air usable. So if you're in a pinch, like typhoon's coming up and you need to change the weather, you can just fly up and use 1 cost. And it's not like at full screen distance, it's hard to really punish or do anything about that. So yeah, that's general purpose 1 costs that are air usable, like IS ball bearing also have that kind of use.
You can also just throw it out because you don't
That's
have
true.
slots in your hand.
You can.
It can also cancel DC. So if you
that's
really
true.
messed up on your DC, you can use that to cancel.
That is true, but you'll still get punished. Yeah, you will. It's not like 6-3 into it, but it is something. It lets you combo off dash C, doesn't it? I think that's something. Yeah, it does. It does. You can combo. Yeah. So it gives you extra damage of dash C, which is kind of cool. So yeah, it has some minor uses. Nothing incredible like the corner pressure use. Even if it crushes, it probably won't be a perfect crush, but you get a combo of it, which is nice. So very strong card. Very good synergy with Yuyuko's pressure. But I'd say that the fact that it's corner only, because in mid-screen it won't be airtight enough, does reduce it to A rank. But it's helped by the fact it's only 1 card. So yeah, I think that covers most of it. I think we'd all agree. Do you think its placement is justified at the top of A?
Yeah, I would say that it's the top of A tier.
Okay.
I think
it's about
usually
right.
at least 3 of it.
Yeah, 3, that's right. So, well, most Yukos would run 4 of that 2 cost, which is pretty similar in cost. I think the common number is 3 of this 1 cost, mainly just because it's corner only, so the situations you use it are much more limited, and no combo use, or not much. So yeah, that's the top of A. Going next on the list, Cookie likes this card a lot, and Onyo seems to not like it so much. We've got the 4 costs iconic reversal of Yuyuko, Aimin, which those of you who know the Oxdor video know it as Aimin, and everyone else might know it as a Eternal Nap. So this one, very straightforward strength. It's a invincible reversal, so invincible in startup. It's a bullet, but the startup is 8 frames, so it is tied for the fastest reversal in the game that has a hitbox with Elemental Harvester. And it covers Yuyuko 360 degrees, so even if they're behind you, it'll hit them. If they're in the air, it'll hit them. If they're in the ground, it'll hit them. It has very slight spirit drain, so if they're on like 0.5 orbs, I think it's basically guaranteed, even if they bait it, which is nice. And of course, being a projectile, it deals spirit damage on block. So not only can you guarantee it even if they bait it to hit them, but if they're low on orbs in pressure, especially in the corner, much like the 2 cost and 1 cost, you can use it after 6-3 to guarantee a crush to get some nice damage. It's got mainly defensive use as a reversal, but that crush use is something you see pretty often as well. Do you guys have anything I'm missing with this one?
You could use it in... did you talk about how you can use it in pressure when they're really low on orbs?
Yeah. So, after 6-3 or after 6C, it's airtight, and you can crush them with it like I'm doing on stream right now.
Yeah, I remember I tried using Aimin on someone in a tourney. It's like they were like on 2 orbs, I think it was, as I can see in this stream. And then the first row of ghosts didn't crush, wasn't enough to crush, but there was enough time or enough frames for my opponent to literally move around.
That's right, yeah. So the two waves aren't airtight into each other, there's a gap. And like you see Sanae doing here, if you crouch, the amount of spirit damage is greatly reduced. But
there's a fun way to use it, but I think it's very low success rate. You go into the corner and you start pressuring them, and then you use Fear Bloom, pretending that you misinput, and then you use the forecast.
That's getting to some chef level mind games, so I guess we won't touch on that too much, but you know, anytime they're trying to attack you, like let's say even after 63, if they're not on low enough orbs to be crushed, you can actually delay the cancel to try to bait their punish, or even they might even not punish you because they're scared of it. So it has a lot of use that, you know, reversals in general do have. Its one weakness is that it's a bullet, but that also is a strength in that you can use it to crush, or even, you know, if they graze it, it drains a very small amount of spirit, so it can guarantee the hit. So yeah.
And also I want to add that if you get a crush in the corner, or you just basically hit people with the card anyway, you can limit from it.
Oh, that's true. Depending on how it hits, you can do a follow-up.
Yeah, it has good limited potential. I think the 4-1, that's 4-1C after it is a very good way to limit.
Right, okay.
And J8A is also
try that.
very good way. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, they guarded it. But yeah, you know, while it doesn't knock down in itself, depending on how you follow up, you can get a knockdown. So I think that... Oh, sorry, I misinputted. The less hits that the original butterflies do, the easier it is to follow up. Oh, actually, that was pretty easy. So yeah, like Onyo said, 4-2-1's a great follow-up that can lead into a limit. So that kind of negates its weakness of not being able to knock down. Oh, sorry, I misinputted that. But yeah, it does look pretty reliable, which is interesting. So I'm guessing Mian does that kind of thing?
Yeah, he does that all the time.
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. So it does get a knockdown usually, which is great. So that's you know, another reason for it to sit comfortably at the high end of A, I'd say. Okay. Yeah, very iconic reversal, very hard to safe jump because it's 8 frames. You know, you need to time it perfectly, which is very hard in this game.
I think Sakuya, you try to kind of bait it with J2B and it hits anyway.
Yeah, it hits anyway because it's so fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, the weakness of it being a bullet doesn't really matter much because, you know, if they did even a bullet, they don't have time to graze it, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, next one on the list is an interesting one. I think Cookie and myself and Jiang probably originally had this lower than where we have this, but Onyo, with, you know, looking at matches from Mian, who quite likes this card, has convinced us to bring it quite a bit high, well, not quite a bit, but into A tier. So this card's a very interesting one. It is a reversal. It's air usable, but I think in the air it's not invincible. Frame 1.
It is invincible.
It takes a bit of time, I think. Let me check.
I use that to dodge channels.
Yeah, 7th frame it's invincible, so it's not frame 1, but it still is pretty fast, which is, you know, useful to dodge AUBs.
Yeah. Not like the channel one.
Yeah, the 5 cost. Yeah,
that's bridge.
That's true. So it is a reversal that's air usable, though not frame 1 in the air. So it's got that use, similar to the 4 cost we just covered. But I would like to point out that this one is a very unusual hitbox. So as you can see when you use it, it needs to reach the corners of the screen first before the butterflies fly back. So what this means is that if you use it in mid-screen...
Yeah, you always want to use that near the...
Yeah, it's actually just not gonna do anything in mid-screen because they get so much time until the butterfly reaches.
What about the ground ones?
The ground ones don't do anything.
Yeah.
It would be a lot stronger if they did.
I didn't know about that. I never.
The ground ones just go away.
So in mid-screen, it's essentially they'll punish you, and they probably can just graze away. But at the very least, it would make them go back to neutral, I'd say. But you
That's very strong.
will definitely take damage. That's the only thing.
That's like a safe Hangeki where you trade.
Yeah, you trade. Yeah.
Quality.
But in corner, it's a bit different. So since you've got your back on the wall, the butterfly comes out almost immediately. So while not as fast as Amian, I'd say it's probably under 20 frames, which is,
pretty fast.
workable. Yeah, it's pretty decent. But once again, yeah, like 20 frames. Once again, the main thing here is in corner, because you've got so much distance from the other corner. Even if they punish you, they're gonna have to worry about the butterflies coming back to them. So they're gonna have to back off. They can't, even if they knock you down, their Oki isn't gonna be anything good. So it's a very good kind of keep off me card with relatively low risk. You'll just get like about 1.5k or something, depending on the character you're facing.
It's like the ultimate private square counter.
Yeah, that's right. It's very effective against Sakuya because she can't. While she can knock you down if you use it, she won't be able to use her spellcast Oki because the butterflies will be covering you. So yeah, a bit of a counter Sakuya card.
I think that she can do some kind of 6-3C.
Yeah, you can land 63C, but then after they're knocked down, you have to dodge the butterflies.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you can't use your Oki card. So that's the thing with it. And air usable is nice. Like with the 1 cost, you can use it to change weather if you want. It's even safer than the 1 cost, I'd say, and it actually helps your neutral. So in a pinch, you can just use it to gain an advantage in neutral. It is actually quite strong in that sense because there's so many butterflies coming into it. It's like a super 2-1-4 default.
Yeah, super.
With reversal functionality. That's a really safe kind of reversal. So yeah,
and it doesn't go away when you get hit.
that's true. That's very important. It doesn't go away when you get hit. So while you'll take a bit of damage, the opponent has to back off. So if you're against a character that is pressuring you very hard and you just need to get breathing room, it's a go-to card. And I think what Onyo was saying is that Yuyuko's defense is on the poorer end.
I disagree with that.
Well, okay, but anyway,
because Yuyuko has a very high BE.
That's true. Yeah, her BE is pretty good.
And she has a very low crouch. She has a very fast smash. She has a high profile 6-3.
That grazes as well.
No, it's not on the poorer end. I don't think.
Okay, well, regardless of assessment of Yuyuko's defense, I think if you're having trouble with pressure, it's definitely a good card to have. And Mian, China's #1 player, who is a Yuyuko main, is a big fan of it. It sounds like. So I'd say that alone probably proves its efficiency.
I don't know about the against the other characters, but when I am a Sakuya and I am doing a private square against Yuyuko, I think that it's like one of the worst thing I want to see. The last thing I want to see.
Yeah, it is. It's like when I see it, it's like, oh no, I can't even use my spell because they're just gonna return it with a 2 cost. Yeah.
Now that I'm hearing all of this, I feel like I should.
You should.
Consider
It will
actually
stop
using this
me
card.
from Oki healing you decisively.
Yeah, and it's not just that. I feel like the reversal card that is higher than this one. It's high risk, high reward.
That's true.
Which is,
Yeah.
I'm happy with the high reward,
But keep in mind that
sometimes
this
it's always nice to have
yeah.
a low risk reversal.
The
like,
thing with this
2
one
cost.
is it's in mid screen. It doesn't function.
Yeah.
And in corner, it's so low damage that the opponent's not going to care at all, basically, and just pressure you. So it doesn't have the dissuasion effect of the 4 cost. That's something to consider.
That's true.
And you will take damage, even if it hits them, which is the funny thing.
Yeah, so it's like you gotta use this when you still have health.
Yeah,
otherwise you're
that's
gonna die.
right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's something to consider. It's not a traditional reversal, but it's more like a situation improver.
It's not gimmick. It's perfectly viable.
Yeah, it's perfectly viable. It's more like I wouldn't call it like a traditional reversal. It's more like a Yeah, it improves your situation, I guess, which is strong. Yeah. So yeah, that's A tier. Next up, so here's where we're getting to cards that you probably won't see unless the person likes the card or has found some use for it.
I think the 3 card.
The 3, yeah, actually that's true. No, but that's against certain characters only. You wouldn't run it against everyone, right? Unless you want the
you
neutral
could.
use. it's
could,
not that effective unless you get Oki with it, yeah. So going to, S tier is a must run, everyone loves these cards. They're notably, if you're not running them, you're hurting your character. A tier is pretty similar, but I think there's room for debate. They're not as decisive to the character's strength. B tier is where we're getting to, they're good cards, but
We have better choices.
yeah, people would start you'd start seeing these run less. Even if you don't run them, I think the character's pretty much unaffected in terms of strength, other than some niche situations. So yeah, but personal choice tier, I'd say B. So first one on the list is the 3-cost ring. This one is a interesting card. So at first glance, I think most people associate it as a neutral card. So let me just equip it. So most people, it creates a ring of ghosts that slowly closes into you. So what's scary about this ring of ghosts is that if you block it,
You can't be it.
that's right, you can't border escape the hits, so you're forced
And it
to
does
block the
5
whole
orbs.
thing. And
Yes.
what makes it worse is that I think not technically 5, but depending on how they block it, so if they block it from here, yeah, it does 5 depending on how they
You
block
can
it.
push them into
Yeah,
the,
you can
into
push
the,
them into it, that's right.
center.
So as long as you can make them block it with like a melee, it's gonna crush them. Now there is a counterplay. They can of course avoid blocking it, or they can also border escape your melees. So as long as they right block, whatever you use to make them block it can be border escaped. So you just need to be unpredictable on what the final melee you do to them is. That's the main thing. Because if they border escape the J2A, but then you did 4A and it hits them, they're gonna take that hit plus the full damage of the spell card. So yeah.
Normally, I like to use this card when they're really high up in the air and they've either one run out of dashes or two, they're very low on
That's
orbs.
correct, yep. So, this card, as long as you can make them block it, it's gonna guard crush them. So,
So I want to add in, it's like a consistent setup against certain characters.
That's
So
true. So,
if they are getting down in the corner, you can get cover both
That's
without
right.
positions.
so yeah, it's got a second use as well for Oki. But for its neutral use, the strength of it is that it will always appear in a position where it closes in on the opponent. So
It's neutral.
doesn't matter where they are, it's gonna threaten them. So you want to aim for a situation where they're low on orbs, so they can't fly around it, or that they're completely out of flights. In which case they're doomed. They're gonna get killed.
Yeah, I think when it's closing up to them from behind, it's very unpredictable, I think, for most people.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does cause them to panic as well, so you might be able to swap them out with a J6A or something as they're desperately trying to avoid it. Because the threat of 5
counter
orbs
hits.
is very scary. So that's its neutral use, It's definitely not that strong if you look at neutral alone. It's like a mini Royal Flare, but not as good. If they just fly around you and avoid you, which isn't too hard because Yuyuko's quite slow, they can actually just graze it. But
This card sound. You guys make this card sound so amazing. So why is it in B and not in A?
I just said, the neutral use isn't actually that strong. Like if they block it, it's
Yeah,
strong, but it's
situational.
easy to not block. That's the thing.
What about
And
the
it's hard to
Yokosuka?
judge when it's like you think they're gonna get crushed by it when you use it, but then they find a way to get out, and you're
Yeah,
like,
you
"Damn
need
it."
to push them into it or make sure they block a lot of it for it to crush. And also there's the risk that even if you do make them block it, the move that you use to push them into it can be border escape. So I think neutral use alone, it's quite weak. I'd put it at low B. But it's alright, but it's not, that strong, especially if you're going to use a 3-cost that consumes 2 of the other cards that could be the cards in S tier. It's like, would I use that? Probably not often. But then the other use of it comes to what Onyo was mentioning earlier. So, of course, if you get a knockdown, it's going to still appear around the opponent. And depending on the opponent's character, they have nothing they can do to avoid it. they will end up blocking it no matter what. So, you know, the only way out they have is they border escape the melee, the last melee you did before you just watch them get crushed. But of course, being Yuyuko, you always have your 623. So
yeah, and if they're waking up on spot, you can just do a that will catch the border escape.
that's true. Though they could border escape the last hit of it, because even if they're blocking the ring,
but you can delay it to make it hard.
that's true. Yeah, it's very hard you can have a lot to throw them off. So against certain characters like Sakuya and Udonge, it's very useful as Oki.
Yeah.
But against the rest of the cast, you have to guess their wake up direction. So and you know, the pressure you get when you do follow them isn't as strong as versus those two. So I'd say, you know, it's very strong when it works, but it's a bit niche in how many characters or how effective it is versus most of the cast. So, you know, what I would have had at bottom B in terms of usefulness because of the Oki, I'd say moves to top B. Yep.
And there's a secret usage. If they are Sakuya or Udonge, you can get a cross-up using the DC.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's very dangerous, and you don't really know which direction that is. So.
Yeah, right, okay, because you match it to their wake up and just dash C over them.
Yeah.
And even if they block it, you're safe because the ring covers you, like with 63 as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some interesting trivia for the Picas there. Moving on to the next card in the B tier. So we have the spell card version of the Lance 236. So this one, you know, it's a very standard card. It's a damage spell card. So it overlaps a bit with her S tier cards, the two pink and blue ghost, because in essence they're also dealing damage. But compared to those two, it's much more direct in how it deals damage. So, you know, it has benefits like that. It is pretty heavy hitting for a 4 cost, 4.4k. That is definitely on the harder hitting end. The main issue is that, you know, very rarely is it either possible to go into it in a way where it's damaging, or, you know, or it's worth it over the 2 S tier cards. The one situation that it's definitely better than those, well, there's a few. First one I can think of is Dash C. Because it's air usable, you can go straight into it for a nice limit knockdown of it, which hits hard. And,
I think that this is the card that is more common against like newer Yuyuko players, because they don't really combo well yet.
That's true, yeah. It's a very easy one button big damage, where you don't need to, you know, keep up the pressure after the knockdown like the pink ghost. And it's also capable of KOing, which I think has its own appeal over the blue ghost. So, you know, in air combos, like if you do J6A, you can combo into it for decent damage. Same with J8A, you know, even J5A you can go into it. So primarily I'd say it's used in air combos, but if you want in mid-screen you can do it off dial A for decent damage as well. Actually, that's a lot of damage, okay. So yeah, very straightforward combo card, air usable, you know, makes it worth it when other monster cards like the pink ghost exist, but you know, it is outshined in terms of overall usefulness by the
other cards.
High tier cards. It also can be used in pressure, which is a common trend across a lot of Yuyuko cards, but its spirit damage when crouched is actually quite low from memory. Oh, actually, 2.2 orbs, it's pretty good actually. But you know, if it doesn't crush, you're not going to be able to retain any pressure of it. And in corner, it will actually get you punished if they block it.
I think this card goes really well with your backflip.
Oh, that's true.
Deck. Yeah. So if they are predicting that you are going to do a backflip, they maybe just turn around, but you can do a 6A. That may just.
Yeah, I see. It'll make them back off,
mix-up.
and you can So there's some interesting strategies with this one, but overall, it's a. Which is a nice change from the earlier cards. Very straightforward, just combo card that does decent damage. But you know, since she's got a lot more alluring choices in S tier and A tier, it's not as common. But it is definitely easy to use, and I think it's a good choice, especially for newer Yuyuko players. And even strong ones, you know, a confirm off Dash C is something that the other cards don't really offer. Same with J6A. And yeah, you know, damage on the spot is definitely worth more than damage that comes later, at least on paper. So it does have its own niche use over the...
Yuyuko cannot combo from down A if she's too far away from the corner.
Oh, okay. So it does have some limitations, and I don't think there's any way to go into a 2A either. Oh, there is 2B? No, you can't, okay. So, it's not perfect like the 4 cost or 2 cost. There's some limits to what combos into. Oh no, it does. Even full screen Dale, it doesn't need wall bounce, it just catches them while they're flying. Okay.
The Ghost?
Oh, Ghost, yeah, Ghost can't combo, that's true. So it does actually have some better combo ability than Ghost in some ways. Even though you can't do it off 2A. Oh, actually, you can.
Well, you can actually do 2A, 3A into the Ghosts.
2A, 6A.
There are certain characters that
you can't.
cannot.
Yeah, that's true. So actually, in terms of combo ability, it's not that different to the Ghosts. Interesting. But I wouldn't use it off 623 because the damage is hugely reduced.
Oh, speaking of the Ghost combo, I think the 4 cost is harder to combo of 3A.
No, they're both the
if
same
that's-
startup. Blue
Same
Ghost and
startup?
Pink Ghost, yeah.
I always feel that 4 cost is harder
really?
to combo
That's
on a
interesting.
3A.
I can confirm that they are the same startup, so it shouldn't matter, but maybe there is something that maybe the hitbox or something that we're not aware
Yeah,
of.
I feel the 2 cost combo is more lenient than 4 cost.
Okay, it's 11 frames for both, yeah. But yeah, maybe, that's something to consider, though I haven't personally thought of that before. It's,
Maybe the travel speed of those tickets are different. I'm
maybe,
not sure.
yeah, there could be something there. But overall, both of them are very reliable combo cards. So that's the 4 cost lasers, pretty straightforward. Next one's the 5 cost ghosts. So this one is a interesting card.
I thought this was a good card.
It is a good card. B is like, if you like it, you can run it and it's probably gonna help you. It's just that,
It's just so expensive.
yeah, it's a 5 cost,
Yeah.
so it's gonna eat up, coins, it's gonna eat up pink ghosts, it's gonna eat up blue ghosts, it's gonna eat up 1 costs, and the damage it deals is, if you consider how much the 4 cost does for 1 card less, and also, the fact that in combos this pink 5 cost isn't gonna hit fully, it's actually doing less damage than the 4 cost ghost.
5 cost ghost is more like mental damage done to the enemy. They're stuck in the corner
I
for a
think
while.
that's
when
right,
getting
yeah.
hit.
I think the big thing with the 5 cost ghost, it's a bit of an all-rounder. You can use it in
Is there-
combos.
Is there like an equivalent of that in any other character?
I think it's probably like a better Royal Diamond Ring.
A royal what?
Diamond Ring, but better.
Oh, okay.
But essentially, the weakness it has if you use it in neutral is that I'm gonna make Sanae's stand over here. Essentially, if they just leave its effect, it doesn't follow them very quickly, so they can avoid it very easily. So in neutral, I wouldn't say it's very strong at all.
I think
That's
you
like
should never use it in neutral.
No, I wouldn't.
You can use using the
that's
pressure string.
Yeah.
You use far A and 421, and it will be tight.
Oh, really?
Sounds like
Yeah.
Holland.
Yeah, it is a bit like Holland actually, but Holland's neutral's better. This one's better in pressure than Holland because it does pretty decent spirit damage.
So any 421 C into it is airtight. So that's
Okay,
a
so
fairly long time for you to
6A to 421. Yeah, there you go, it's airtight. And it's the only thing is they can border escape any hit. So
but you can use far A to kind of deter them from border escape.
yeah, that's right. There is a mix
By
up
the way-
you get. Yeah.
We probably need to speed things up a little bit because
Yeah, we're running out of time, so we'll speed through the rest. But essentially, it does 2.9 orbs, but it's, over time and they can border escape every hit, so you do need to keep them mixed up to keep them blocking, but it is decent. The main
is it
weakness
fully
is...
airtight?
Yeah, it is fully airtight. So, in mid-screen, its effectiveness is still there, but you can't stop them from border escaping as well, so I'd recommend using in corner mostly. It's got decent combo use, decent pressure use, not very good neutral use. It's expensive, but it's not bad. It's just that Yuko's other options, I'd say, are more attractive. But if
I would say that is pretty bad for a 5 card.
Yeah, the main problem is it's
Yeah.
5 cards. So, you know, people run it. It's not that uncommon, and it's decent. But I would say it's not like a huge strength of Yuyuko. So I would say low B tier. Next one is very straightforward. 2-cost reversal. Unlike the 2-cost butterfly, one that we talked about earlier, this one straight up has a hitbox after at the start, and if it hits, it'll knock them in the air, and you won't get punished like with the 2-cost butterfly ring. The main problem with this though, especially when you compare it to the 4-cost, although it is very cheap compared to the 4-cost,
It doesn't do as much damage.
its startup
That's so
is
little
notably
damage.
slower, so it doesn't have that strength of 8 frame startup of the 4-cost, and its damage is also notably lower. And on top of that, the situation after you hit them is actually not as good, because they can air tech a lot quicker, so you won't be able to get that combo like you do with the 4-cost. And what's worse is actually they end up plus sometimes, depending on how it hit them. So air hit like this. Oh yeah, see, they air teched before I could move, so they actually did end up plus. So if you do it near corner like this, I think they can
So-
actually punish you.
I think that is the kind of card that people don't really care about if they got hit by it.
Yeah, it doesn't do enough damage to warrant really caring about it much.
But that's not the only thing about it, because Elemental Harvest doesn't do enough damage either.
That's
but,
true. I'd say the situation after hit is what makes it not that good. Because
I used to think that this card was actually rated above Amin, but
It looks
now
the
that I'm
same,
hearing
yeah.
it makes more sense now.
so you can, because it's a bullet, you can still use it to crush, but it's alright as a crush. But once again,
But
have
there is
better
another 2 card.
yeah, exactly. There's another 2 card, and they can air tech after this one, so you can't get the combo either. It's alright. Apparently, if they're next to you on the ground, it will knock down, which is good. But once again, it also depends on how it hits them, so it's very inconsistent, which is its main weakness. And there are much better reversals in A tier, I'd say. So there you have it, a decent reversal that's low cost. People who like it would run it. It also has crush use, but so do a lot of other Yuyuko cards. So yeah, interesting card. Might have synergy if you like conserving your other cards while still having a decent reversal. So yeah, that's the B tier. Now all we've got left is just the C and D tier. Very quickly, C tier, big melee 5-cost with a 810-year startup and invincible throughout. It is air unblockable, which is something. There is one string you can do it to that I'm aware of.
It's 421C,
yeah.
and then you do the thing.
It's a guess that they're gonna block it, but if you predict that they will block the 421 and not border escape, so you can't react, because if you try to react, you give them time to border escape. But if you predictively do a 421 into this and they block the 421, it will hit them outright. It's inescapable at that point, like this. So yeah, it hits very hard. The main issue is that that's literally like the only use for it, other than really weird combos like charge 6-8 counter hit into it.
Is it the startup? Is it faster than Remelia's thingy? The 4 card?
The startup is 72 frames, so I think Remelia's one's like 60 from memory.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it's terrible. I think 63 counter hit combos into it? No, it depends on distance. So I wouldn't treat it as a combo card. I treat it as a one-trick pony AUB card. Oh yeah, it does combo at certain ranges, but you can't react to the counter hit, so it's not feasible. One other trait it has is it's invincible during startup, so like if Yukari uses her train against you, you can counter it with this. But, that's not very useful. You can use the 4-cost reversal for better effect. So yeah, C tier. It's not like it's bad, but it's not terrible.
This is combo video tier.
Yeah, combo video tier for C. But yeah, there is one card that is worse. So the worst of the worst, the winner of Yukong's worst spell card, I think everyone in the world will agree, as long as they know what the cards do. Resurrection Butterflies. So this tried to take a unique approach where it's like a skill card. The more you use the card, the stronger the attack gets. The problem is it's a 3 cost. On its first use, its effect is like a, 1 cost, basically. And, you can use it in combos and do very little damage, or you can use it in pressure and do barely anything to them. So, at the first use, I'd say it's more like you're taking a hit to your effectiveness to level it up. That's kind of what it feels like at level 1. On block, you can do it up to 623. It's not even airtight. It does 1.1 orbs.
But why does Yuyuko turn monochrome?
Because it's a reference to a final spell card in Touhou Hisoutensoku. At level 0, it's not even airtight of 60, okay. So yeah, level 1 version of it's useless, basically. At level 2, it it gets a bit faster, 33 frame startup. Still pretty bad. I'd say it's like a 2 cost at this point. So at this point you use 6 cards for this, and it's barely a 2 cost in effectiveness. And even then, it's like a very mediocre 2 cost. At level 3,
it needs to last longer.
At the 3rd hit, I'd say, finally it's like a 3 cost in strength. It does about 2 orbs of spirit damage, maybe a bit more if you're point blank. Oh, it does a lot more at point blank. Oh wait, no, that was 3rd use, sorry, it's hard to test this, because each time you use it, it gets stronger. But yeah, at best it caps out to be like a 5 cost, or maybe a bit stronger. But at that point you've used up 12 cards in your deck for this, with the first 2 being
you're
chores.
You're unlikely to have not consumed.
Yeah, that's
like
true.
Another.
The last one needs to be in the remaining 8 cards. It needs to have, none of them need to have been consumed in those 12 cards you used. So yeah, interesting idea, terrible execution, would not recommend D tier. So yeah, that's the spell cards.
But then the idea is pretty well, executed for another character.
Is it?
Yes.
Who has a
Udonge?
Oh yeah. Well, that's true. Her potion is similar and actually done in a cool way, and that's effective. So, Yuyuko got the short end of the stick here, but considering how strong some of her other spell cards are, I don't think anyone's complaining. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's the spell cards. Yeah, so we've spent a lot of time on spell cards.
Also, the verdict is still out there for the pink ghost and the blue ghost. Let us know in the comments which one you think is stronger.
And we got a comment
Oh
from
my
Azu
ears.
saying that 2 spell card Ghost Reversal better than Ghost Ring unsubbed. sorry about that, Azu. But
It's just our opinion.
I
You
think
don't have to take it as gospel.
it's Mian influenced a bit, I guess.
Yeah.
Originally we had it like this, by the way. So we had it probably in a way that you would have agreed, but anyway, so that's the spell cards. We'll now quickly go to skill cards. There's a few to go over here. We'll just breeze past them. Top 1 on the list is...
Wait. Did you say that we originally have the
Oh no, sorry, we
Ghost
had it in A
Reversal
tier.
pattern?
We had Ghost Heroes above the ring, but it was in the same tier. They were basically...
Wait, I wouldn't have done that. That wouldn't have been me. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I am a Sakuya player with the private.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, that's true. There's a bit of bias here. 2 of the commentators are Sakuya players. 3 of the commentators are Sakuya players. So yeah, there's probably a bit of bias there. But anyway, interesting to see everyone's opinions as well. Let us know if you agree, disagree, have thoughts on, like Jiang said, pink ghost, blue ghost. That was a point of discussion. Anyway, quickly going to skills as we're short on time. Top 1 is the 623. Level 0.
What is this level? What does this do? I've never seen it before.
This extremely rare card is a melee skill that grazes and has invincibility on Yuyuko's feet when she uses it, as you can see the hitbox viewer.
It's not AUB, is it?
It is AUP.
Yes, it is.
It's not safe on block, is it?
It could, well, technically not safe by itself. Yuyuko has an abundance of spell cards that she can cancel into to make it safe, or even advantageous on block.
It doesn't high profile, does it?
No, it possibly couldn't. Oh wait, hitbox versus high profiles. So it's
It's
like,
not 360, is it?
oh, there's the hitbox. It hits behind her, unfortunately. Well, fortunately for Yuyuko. So it does everything that you could hope for. And of course, it's not fast enough to catch border escapes. It is it? Yes, it is. It will definitely catch all border escapes done on the action for it, which is really good. And on top of that, you couldn't possibly get any good damage of it hitting, right? Well,
Oh no.
2 cost spell
just
card
kidding.
adds
Yes,
1.2k.
2 cost spell card.
You can go into 4 cost if you want to add a 4k. You can go into the 4 cost laser lances for good damage too. Aim in as well. So, you know, the skill itself has great synergy with Yuyuko's spell cards and her pressure. I think no one's going to be surprised that it's her top skill card. It's even fine at level 0, which I'd say contributes to its higher tier placement, but if you level it to level 1, it becomes faster, allowing you to beat more non-border escape options. And also at level 3, I think, it becomes bigger. So in Sprinkle, essentially, it gets a stronger use as an air unblockable move. So not only is it a good BE catch, also a pretty good AUB move in neutral as well. So especially because it grazes. So yeah, very funny move. On counter hit, you could even get good combos of it. So yeah, it does everything.
But clarify,
Yep.
if it counter hits, and you expect it not to be a counter hit, and you
That's
use
true.
spell card,
One weakness.
Gonna
The spell card will miss if you counter hit, but you can go into 2 through 6 anyway. So yeah, great card. Would recommend, you know, either just using it or maybe running 1 or 2 cards just to get it to level 1 for the faster startup.
I thought you said it was a rare card.
The card, yeah, people don't run it usually because it's great at level 0, but sometimes it is run.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you need it to be level 1 to be extremely good to be
That's
at
true.
S tier.
Sometimes pokes beat it after like 6A, depending on distance, if at level 0. So, you know,
At level 0, I think it's more like A, so...
oh, okay. But yeah, at level, you know, I think as a BE catch, etc., it's very, very strong. So, you know, maybe run 1 or 2 of them to get it to that level 1. But even without that, I'd say it's very, very useful.
I'm pretty sure that you can coin BE it safely at level 0.
Depends on your distance from memory. So mid-screen, well, yeah, mid-screen you can. Corner, I don't think you can. From memory.
I see.
I could be wrong, but at level 1, you know, it gets rid of all these weaknesses too. That is a good
Okay,
point.
what is this? What is this card? I've never seen before then.
This extremely unusual card is her default 214, so that's level max. At level 0, you know, it's still pretty formidable, sending out 3 waves of butterflies with an extreme delay, letting Yuyuko approach behind them in any way she wants. The ghosts, it can't be erased in ghost form, but once it's in butterfly form, they can be erased, but the angle they come at you makes it very effective since they come down from above. The one weakness I'd say is the butterflies are low density, but you know, it doesn't matter because of the angle they come down and it's really strong. Also, they don't have a hitbox in the ghost form, but that's okay. So yeah, it also does have Oki use. So for example, if I knock down Sanae here, and I use 63B, the butterfly ghosts will basically appear immediately, covering both wake-up options for the opponent. You know, giving you some bullets on their wake up, which is very effective. Also, what else? Oh, Onyo, do you know any other uses for it?
It helps you combo if you do the J6A cross up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it gives you a combo of J6A cross ups.
You can combo off J8A in the corner.
Oh, that's true.
And if you are
Yeah.
and if you are in like an air pressure and you get to fly up, you can use it so that
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it comes off almost immediately if you're up in this corner of the screen. So that is
And
a
if
strong
you are
use.
if they're in the corner and you made them to run block a 2A, then you can probably just use 214B.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like a good mix-up. It
Yeah,
becomes
right, because yeah, it is pretty sudden.
Yeah.
Okay, that's some interesting uses. But yeah, I think the main uses are its neutral and okizeme, which are incredibly formidable in their own right. Very easy to use, I'd say. Land cancel lets you high jump, similar to Rain of Sea Bullets. So, you know, very simple to implement, easy to follow up, and very hard to deal with. Very solid card. You don't have to run it, but you can if you want for extra waves of butterflies. Sprinkle, it becomes a huge number of butterflies. Very, very useful card over, and you can even put a second wave out if you want endless butterflies. So yeah, great card.
You can even use charge 5B with it.
Oh, that's true if you want even more butterflies. But yeah, I'd say, you know, very formidable card. So it's a very close tie between all three of her 2-1-4s, but I think this being default also helps it edge out above the other two. So going to the next one on the list is Laser Butterflies. So
Okay, disclaimer. If it were up to me, this card would be the best 4-2-1 card of Yuyuko.
yeah,
the ceiling laser.
that's right. We had some discussion about which of the 2-1-4s is best. Opinion was split between which of these two 2-1-4s in S tier were the better one. So, you know, it's very close knit, but I think Onyo was able to convince us that default comes out on top slightly. Also helped by the fact that it's default, I'd say. So Laser Butterflies, just quickly going over it, is a very high damaging card, especially at higher levels.
And it's the only way that you can combo after J6A in neutral.
That's true.
And that's so big, considering that it's also a very high damaging card.
Yeah, that's true. So it's like a, you know, extra damage in combos, and even if it hits in neutral raw, which it does quite often because the hitbox lingers, as you can see here. It's definitely a very scary card to face, especially if your character's big, because you'll be more likely to hit those hitboxes in neutral and more likely to get hit by multiple lasers at once for big damage. So, you know, for example, I'll just get it to level max to show you what it can do. 3k.
And you can put it directly up on top of them, and
that's true.
It's the kind of bullets that's very, very hard to clear.
Yeah, so it's much quicker to come out than a default 2-1-4 because the curse travels very quickly, and the coverage it gives you is kind of similar at high levels. It covers basically the whole screen.
Do it at level 4 hail.
Level 4 hail. But yeah, and the damage is huge, and it's quite easy to convert off too because there's some decent, you know, untechable time, and you know, big damage of J at A. So yeah, very strong card. It just doesn't quite have the same Oki use or quite the neutral strength of default. So it makes up for it with damage, but I think because you need to equip it and also leveling it up is quite important for that damage, I'd say it's loses out to default by just a bit. So that's
Even
the S. Yep.
Yeah, even with if it's just level 1, it still does quite a bit of damage on its own.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, it's not like your top. It's like you definitely want to level it up, but if you're not able to like level it up at a given moment because it's too dangerous, then of course you
still
shouldn't.
find a level 1. But even then, it's not level 0 2-1-4s there from the very start. So that is an advantage it has over it. Okay, going into A tier, we've got Sphere Bloom, the last of the 2-1-4s. So if
I think that this is the card that I know the most about in Australia. Probably.
To quickly touch on it, you know, if you're an Udonge or Sakia player, I would say that you'd probably want to have this card at the very top of the list. But looking at it from a more broad perspective, it's so it's an Oki card, purely Oki card with very minimal neutral use. You can use it, but it's nowhere near as good as the other ones. Okizeme gives you basically at level 2 or above almost 5 orb crush string if you read their wake up direction right against a lot of the casts. And against Sakyo and Udonge, no matter what they do, it's going to give you a 5 orb crush string with spell cards. So
yes, against Sakuya and Udonge, you only need like one spirit of one orb to knock them down, put yourself into a good position to start it. While against a few others, you need 2 spirits, 2 orbs, like to be 60 and a backdash.
So, you know, it's super effective against Sakyo and Udonge, and still very effective.
She can sustain it, like almost indefinitely against Sakuya and Udonge with the 3 card.
That's true.
She has one.
So you can supplement the Oki with your 3 card when you're out of spirit, or if the knockdown wasn't great. But, you know, I think it's self-explanatory. If you can get them to block it, that's what happens. So,
and
yeah.
I think that if the Yuyuko managed to do it on you 3 times in a row, you still wake up into her pressure anyway, and with 2 orbs, I don't think that you have much of a chance at all. The only way that you can escape it is like a Hengeki or a Talisman, which is like mandatory when you are a Sakuya or an Udonge against.
Yeah, that's right.
People.
So, you know, it's essentially meta shifting, trauma inducing with your Sakuya and Udonge, but against about half the cast, it's more than half the cast, it's just an effective Oki option where you have to guess.
I think it also has some decent usage against the air attack.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can place it to dissuade the air attack.
Oh, and there's like a weather that she can make it become GOD.
That's right. Regardless of who you're against, if you do knock them down in Diamond Dust, here's a recreation of what happens. So you get the knockdown, they wake up here, you just go bang. Oh, I misspaced it. Sorry, there's a perfect spacing for this. But essentially it's death. Level 1. At level 2 is where it becomes familiar. There you go, 4.5 orbs. So in Diamond Dust, regardless of who you're facing, it spells doom.
Also, the corner pressure, if you can mix up, you can put something like J2C in your pressure string. You can have enough time to set up a Sphere Bloom in the corner.
That's interesting. So it does have some...
so if you are...
Oh, but...
And the reason why this card is below the other 2 is that it isn't universal. It doesn't work on every single one.
That's true.
When it does work, it's like SS.
Yeah, definitely agree on that one. So that's held back by how it only works on certain characters and its effectiveness varies wildly. Also, very limited neutral use.
Do you remember how I used it to avoid Sakuya's chase 6-3 in after like an air pressure? Do you remember how I used that?
Oh yeah, that's right. You can use the C version as an evasive maneuver.
Yes.
Okay.
That's true, because it's air usable, and even if you're out of flight, you flip back. And it's an attack cancel, meaning that it comes out earlier than a movement cancel. So it actually does have a evasive maneuver use, which is funny. Could be useful. It's been useful before. And we've got a question. Why is it called Sphere Bloom? If it's an eclipse spiral, it's because each little orb is a sphere, I think.
Yep. And it's a very small sphere, or a small group of spheres. Well, a large group of small spheres, how about that?
And you're quickly rushing through the last few. 421, very unusual card. No one has seen this one before, I'm sure.
Which one?
Default 421.
Oh
yeah, no one's seen that card for sure.
You know, very standard Yuyuko corner pressure card, airtight of 6C. You know, if you do it after 6A, it's not airtight, but if they border escape to 6A, it lets you chase. You know, pretty useful card even at level 0 and corner, just for the pressure alone. Also has anti-air use, you can place it like that. But at level 1, if you do decide to run the card, so I'll use Sprinkle for example here. Actually, I've already got a card. It becomes air usable at level 1. So this increases your kind of air-to-air. If they're above you, you get the option of using it like an air-to-air anti-air. But more importantly, it helps your air pressure by giving you a strong on-block bullet follow-up. and also air combos, giving you a greater, way to add damage to your J8A hits, for example.
I think that it's almost mandatory to run at least one of these cards.
Yeah,
As
I think a
Yuyuko.
lot of Yuyuko would say that if you're not running it, you're probably hurting yourself. So that is a good point.
Yes, but it is in A tier.
Yeah, I'd say that, the actual benefit it brings isn't as striking as the cards above it. And, its main use, which is corner pressure, is like, it's pretty good. But it's like, I wouldn't say it's quite as scary as the other cards. The difference is small, but I'd say it's small, yeah. So that's why it's an A tier. Next one is 236, another default card. Very little reason to level this one. Air usable at level 0, wipes the whole screen with a B infinite laser.
The problem with this card is that it is so strong at level 0 already that it's almost like a waste of slot, a waste of space to bring it into your deck.
Exactly, so there's very little reason to run the card. It becomes fatter and does more damage. But considering the hitbox is already so full screen, the bigger width doesn't really matter much. It punches through any bullet anyway at level 0. And
5 streams of laser at B infinite density.
Exactly, it is truly formidable. I think the one weakness is that it doesn't lead to a knockdown. But
you can use
and there's also snipes that are faster than this as well, so
That's
you can
true.
get outsniped.
But I mean,
you can use a spell card after it though. So
not in it. Oh yeah, the 4-cost lance, I guess. But yeah, it's very, very strong, and you don't need to run any cards. Also has some combo use. Great for limiting or getting extra damage off like this kind of mid-screen 6A. Also nice air-to-air combos on the 6C. So,
I think that is the 236 is like the key for 3000 damage plus.
yeah,
Yuyuko
exactly.
combo.
So it is a great card, but its effect is kind of decent, pretty strong snipe in neutral, and some additional combo damage. So it is great, and you don't have to run any cards, which is really good. But also, I don't think it has the godlike status of the S tier cards. So that's the A tier. Going into B tier, we've got some more unusual cards. We've got the reversal 623. So on paper,
I think that starting from this point, if you see this card in a real game, it's probably not a serious game.
Now that's not necessarily true with this reversal one, I think.
Yeah, I feel the reversal is like, I feel in OCE I played a lot of players, they absolutely hate it when I run this card.
Yeah, it's hard to deal with, but the main thing is against certain matchups where the weakness it has, so I'll just show you in game. But the main weakness of this card, if you just look at the damage it deals and the startup, invincibility, etc., it seems really good. But it has a really big weakness in that the hitbox on it is terrible.
I think that this would be very good against Rebellion.
Yep, so as you can see, I'll slow down the game speed. But at level 0, or level 1, it only hits like point blank in front of Yuyuko. So even at this close distance, it's not going to hit Sanae. But you need to be point blank. Or even... Oh, okay, you need to actually be... Oh, okay, sorry, I'm stand corrected. Even at absolute point blank, it will not hit a grounded target at level 0. It will hit airborne targets.
Zero.
A level
Because
1,
the
sorry.
hitbox
To level it up before it can hit the
Wait.
point blank.
Okay, you need to be under them for it to hit at level 1. You need to actually be behind them, that's terrible. So at level 1, it's not very good at all. But against characters like Marion or Remilia, who fly over your head to hit you, it can be pretty effective.
And Yumu, I think.
That's right. But
I don't think it's particularly useful against Yomu because her corner pressure, she generally likes to be like some distance away from you anyway.
more neutral, yeah.
Actually, after Man is running this, Kema couldn't get any like proper pressure on him.
I see.
But yeah, at level 3, it covers for this weakness, finally gains a bigger hitbox in front, and now you can actually hit people in front of you if you're point blank. Still requires point blank. Oh, okay. Hold on. Still requires point
Yeah.
blank, but it will work. So, you know, a lot of attacks in this game extend your hurt box forward. So it's not as hard as it looks. You know, if they do like 6As, you can see the hurt box goes forward, it will get hit by this. So, you know, it does big damage, and if you're cornered and you counter hit them, you can actually follow up with certain spell cards, I think. So it does have pretty substantial return on hit. It is kind of awkward to punish because of the distance it makes if you use it mid-screen, especially if they're kind of in the air coming down at you and they miss their approach because of it.
But I think that if you don't get punished, I think that
the situation's bad. Yeah,
you've probably lost neutral
That's
anyway.
True. So yeah, you know, it is a hard-hitting, not a great reversal, but it is completely invincible. So go through bullets as well, which is rare for a skill. But
it
yeah,
also replaces your hand spin 623, which is crucial for doing things like cancel.
Yeah, you're basically giving up pressure.
Yeah, that's right. The
running.
biggest S tier card we've got here is lost when you equip this. That's its biggest weakness. But you know, if you like it, like Onyo said, Mian has run it. It's definitely viable, but I personally wouldn't recommend it. Next one on the list is the Lance 236, replaces your Laser 236, which is an A tier. This one, not that great.
You just use one card to make your godlike 236 weaker.
But essentially, it becomes ground use only, which is its biggest weakness. Startup-wise, it's faster than default 236. A ground-to-ground snipe is actually you're better off, probably, most of the time. But the thing is, you'd mostly snipe air-to-air. So the spread fan 236 definitely has an edge over it there. But the one unique use it has over that is it's got pressure use. So it's airtight of 6A and 3A, or 6C and mid-screen. Which, you know, supplements Yuyuko's lackluster mid-screen bullet pressure game, giving her a potential to crush if they're on low orbs, or even just get some chip damage in and go back to neutral while being a bit plus. So, you know, it's not huge, but it definitely has pressure use, which is nice, especially in Yuyuko's lacking mid-screen bullet options. Still retains snipe use. At high levels it gains a butterfly aura around it, which essentially keeps them blocking it for a long time because it just pushes them steadily towards the corner, you know, giving you a lot more of an advantage, or even potentially encouraging them to BE. So yeah, it's you know, it's all right. The biggest weakness, like with that flip, is that it gets rid of your default 236.
Personally, I think that you don't really want to encourage people to BE as Yuyuko. I don't know about other Yuyuko players though.
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. You know, but I think at least be the bullet to avoid the crush, which is just going to leave them in lower orbs and neutral. So I don't think that's a bad thing. But yeah, you know, I guess it will encourage them to start border escaping your 6A, 3A to avoid blocking it, because it's airtight. At which point you can, if you have your default 623, you can probably catch them with that if you want. So it's interesting, alters your pressure game mid-screen a bit, retains some snipe functionality, better in ground-to-ground actually, but loses the big air-to-air functionality of default 236, and also the combo potential is lowered over default 236. So it's probably a downward trending side grade where you actually have to use a card for it. So I wouldn't say it's common pick, but I've seen people run it, and it's, you know, it's not bad. It's all right.
It's the bad thing about it is that it replaces
exactly. Yeah. So it's like a slightly downward trending side grade that you need to use a card to do. So I wouldn't say it's usually worth it, but definitely if it, you know, synergizes with your playstyle, go right ahead. Next one on the list
my
is
favorite card.
Yeah, Jang's favorite card. Okay. Fan uppercut 623. Very unusual card. The least common of the 623s. I actually think it's, on paper, it's decent because it's a B at level 2. It becomes fast enough to catch BE, but and it's safe on block, so it has something over default. In terms of raw BE catching ability, at least at level 2, it is better than default, I think. But the problem, also you can convert on hit, which is nice, but without spell cards. But the problem is you lose all the options of default 623, which is, you know, it's AUB, it's grazing, it's high profiles. It's it travels.
Wait, it's not invincible?
The C version is invincible, but it has a 60 frame startup or something.
but you can use it to play mind games.
It's not punishable. Oh no, it is. Wait, is it? No. Oh yeah, C version's -17. It's punishable. Oh, no.
Is it punishable like at point blank, or is it
any
like
range? -17. People's like 6As would punish you.
Yeah, but Sakuya doesn't really.
Dash A
I don't
would
think
punish. 6C would
Maybe.
Oh no.
Maybe.
Dash B would punish, Dash A would punish. It doesn't create range much like the flip. So, you know, it's not recommended. It's 44 frames.
When you go into spell card with it, you should be able to, right? C version.
Spell card's B, it doesn't have the impossibility to be of default. So its spell card follow-ups are actually a lot weaker.
I see.
So yeah, it's like a downward trending side grade of default 63 that you need to run at least 2 of, or it's not going to be able to catch PEs. So that's why I have it low in the tier list. It's not a bad move, it's just that why would you run it over default? There's not much points other than, you know, safe BE catch, but the spell cards do that for default, which you should have an abundance of anyway.
It's for star points.
And if anything, it actually weakens your pressure game because you don't get the 623 spell card effectiveness because it's much easier to be between those hits compared to default. So yeah, it's, you know, it does have a use, and the invincibility on it is interesting. Question mark on how useful it is, but it's there. So it's yeah, interesting. Also, it can be comboed into other things on hit, which is probably its biggest thing. On normal hit over default without spell cards. But once again, Yuyuko has a lot of spell cards, so questionable use, yeah. Next, C, we won't spend much time on these. 421 grab, so I personally like this one. It shoots Yuyuko diagonally up into the air. She can act even if it misses, but if it does connect with the opponent, it's air unblockable. It puts them in a grab state where it deals pretty chunky damage and knocks them down with a limit. It also spawns a little ghost that hovers around them with active hitbox, which lasts a short amount of time, then increases levels. I would say that's not the main reason you'd use it. That's kind of a very subtle bonus, especially at high levels. Yeah. At level 1, it barely lasts. All it's going to do is like dissuade a DP on wake up, which is okay actually. So, but it won't stop them if they roll. It runs out too quickly. So it's probably not going to help you until higher levels, but I wouldn't say it's worth leveling up for that alone.
Stooge says it's a rare grab move.
It's
and,
actually air unblockable. It's not a grab from memory.
Yeah, interesting.
So yeah, so it doesn't have the weaknesses of a grab where it's cancelled by block stun. You can still
Can it be used in Typhoon?
Yes, it can be used in Typhoon. So it has, you know, it's decent. I actually like it. It adds damage to your combos. At higher levels, it has a funny little Oki use. The main thing I'd use it for is an AUB option that's safe in neutral and corner pressure, which is interesting. So if they 2B, you can grab them with this. In neutral, if they're wading through your bullets above you, you can catch them with this. You know, it's interesting. Can't be blocked like Jade.
Air usable, then it's scarred.
It would be very strong if it was air usable. Air to air AUB move is god. But yeah, very niche. It has good synergy with the 4-cost ticket though, because it has a long animation. So if you combo into the 4-cost, then this, they're left with like less than 1 second before they explode after they wake up. So it does have synergy there. Next one is 421 Nectar. So this one's a very weird move where you throw a hitboxless orb where ghosts hover around it and you can remote control it. Very, very limited use, but Azil was running it as a test against Iku because it's a very fast traveling projectile that you can direct, so you can use it as a really like preemptive anti-air to outrange Iku's J2A, but I'd say that's its only use, other than leaving it in neutral as a little bit of bullet support, like a worse 6C or 5C. Unlike Yuko's C bullets, it does get erased by other bullets, and it's, I think, only C density, so it's not great for that either. But yeah, you know, it apparently does have use for Iku, so I'll put it here in C tier, not avoid at all costs. And in the only D tier skill card Yukong has, this strange 236 that a lot of people probably have never seen. It replaces your nice laser or even pretty good lance for a little hopping 5C that kind of sinks into the ground and hops along. I'll put it on screen just to give you an idea, because I think most people would not know this card.
Have you ever seen this card in combo movie?
In combo movie, maybe.
Maybe. Nothing.
You have?
It doesn't come to mind. It doesn't.
I
come
have
to
not
mind.
seen it ever before.
So
It's like not even
combo movie tier.
I think I've seen it in combo movie, but it's really rare. Even
If anything, I think it looks kind of cute. They're like rabbits.
The little thing is just popping up and down on the ground and just cascading from one side.
So
of the
in this
screen to the
game,
other.
most of your time is spent in the air, unfortunately making this completely useless. On top of that, Yuyuko has this, which, you know, offers basically the same cover: J2C, 5C, 2C, default 2 on 4. Pick your move. There are plenty of better options over this 236. It's only ground usable. It's got a kind of slow startup, slow cancel window. Actually, not that bad. Similar to 5C, but you know, at level
similar to like Edo.
yeah, it's. Oh, I'd say Edo Pawn's better than this because it jumps at them.
Yeah, and I think it interacts with other bullets.
Yeah.
Unlike the T bullets. Yeah.
Oh, this one I think doesn't interact. So.
It does though.
It does?
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's a problem.
I'm pretty sure it does. Can you test it now, please?
I'll have to look up the wiki. Hold on. Yuyuko wiki. So this 236, it does interact, but it has very high density, so it's actually a good thing. So that's one good thing about it. It has high density and it can erase things flying through it. But once again, at level 0 or level 1, sorry, it doesn't even reach full screen. It hops along.
Can you show the English wiki where it says create combo for this bad note?
There is on the English wiki there's a little picture of the combo section asking for people to write up combos saying make a
and there's something in it. I don't think it's possible.
There are probably no combos, so it loses the combo use of the other 236s as well.
Could you even maybe do the move and then you go into like J5A or something?
Yeah, you can combo off it, but you can't combo into it probably.
Into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Oh, there you go.
That's
6C goes into it and it does barely any damage. That's so sad. Oh, and it does very little damage, which is another downside. 664 damage with 3 hits.
I think that it's time we create a new tier. Like, not even combo movie tier.
Just, yeah, never use this tier. So yeah, that's probably Yuko's worst skill. So there you go.
Probably one of the most skilled in the game.
We've got both her spell card tier list and her skill card tier list. So I'll put it on screen as we finish up, but yeah.
Also, I hope that there's like no doubt that this is the best character in the game.
Yes, Yuyuko is the best character in the game. I guess, you know, her S tier cards are really very, very strong, but
She has 3 S tier cards, skill cards, and 2 S tier spell cards.
yeah, that's true. But anyway, yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed that. 1 hour and a half, not too bad. We probably spent a bit too much time on the spells, but thanks Onyo for your expertise, and Yuyuko and Cookie as well for your experience. That was good to have.
No
and
worries.
Jiang too. So yeah,
For having me here.
we'll be doing these on and off with a few more characters, so tune in if it interests you. And if you're an OCE, see us in the channel linked in the description of this video. Alright, thanks guys. Catch you next time. Actually, what's this?
Outro. Roll
I
the
have
outro, please.
I have a surprise for everyone. We have a little bit of an outro video. So this will be it from us, the commentators, and the tier list. I hope you enjoy the outro. I'll end the stream.
Can we stream
once
the
it's
outro into the Discord channel so that we can watch it as well?
Hold on. Well, just watch the stream while I play it. That's probably the best way.
But that would be too late.
No, but it's playing through OBS, so I can't really.
Oh, that's right.
I mean, I can hold on.
I've never seen this outro before.
Okay, I can do
It was
this.
developed pretty recently, so
It doesn't play the audio though. If I do this, so yeah, you'll probably have to watch the stream.
Or I can stream it and you say like on the time that like count down from 1 to 3.
Yeah,
and then
okay.
you
I'll do it then. So I'll put the outro on soon. We're just getting ready internally. This is the first time a lot of our commentators are seeing it too. So.
But I don't know where I put the file in anymore.
Quickly, Jiang, quickly.
I have to look for it. Do I not have it? I don't have it. Please send it onto my Discord.
Okay.
Wait, or I can just search up my
Yeah, it's in your channel.
my
Just
own.
look up in the channel outro, and it's like the first result.
And my Discord is having a stroke, so
Here.
give me 1 second.
Here, I
Okay.
sent it. It's in this chat
Hold on.
here.
Hold on, give me 1 second
It's
here,
there.
please.
Yep. Okay.
Where is it?
Don't worry, I sent it in the stream.
I mean
channel.
hold on. Give me.
Check.
Did I just share my screen?
Just share your screen if you want them to see it at the same time. I don't think it's a big deal if it's slightly late. They're gonna see it anyway.
Here. And on the count, you count.
Okay. Here's the outro that Jiang made for us for the OCE streams. We'll be using this ongoing. This is the first showing. Hope you enjoy. 3, 2, 1, go.
Now it is time for Tenchi to keep hitting hours.
This is unbelievably frustrating.
This is unbelievable frustrating.
I don't know how to make it better. I don't know how to improve. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I just can't do anything.
By the way,
Nothing works. Nothing helps me. I don't understand. I can't do anything at all to stop her. She just goes out there and kills me. I can't stop her.